Hello everyone, VanguardOfValor here, and welcome to the Descent into Darkness. By which I mean we're playing FTL again. This is DryEagle's final mod, the Descent into Darkness. It changes a whole lot of stuff, and is pretty impressive, I have to say. Now, what changed, do you have to ask? Well, a whole lot of things. Most importantly, the way your game begins. He's completely overhauled the start, which makes it a very interesting experience, and we're going to see just why. So, this is the Descent into Darkness. Let's get descending. New game here. We have our ship, the Athena. It has obviously no crew, no weapons, no drones, no augments, no cloak, no teleporter, no nothing. While it doesn't sound great, it actually winds up being pretty darn cool. So there is a Type B, it's exactly the same as the Type A, and in fact all of our ships are the Athena. Now this is a luxury cruiser. As the description says, the Athena is a small and fast cruiser considered a privilege to even lay eyes on its handcrafted hull, and is usually flown by those who wield great power in the Federation. So we're going to fly this thing ourselves as well. First we'll rename it, and then we'll get flying. Now we're not going to call it the Athena. While Athena is a pretty darn cool Greek goddess, we're going to be calling this the VSS Apollo. Because Apollo is also a pretty cool dude. He has his own very interesting Greek legends, and one interesting thing about Apollo is that he happens to be the god of darkness. So, that is fairly appropriate, given that we are currently descending into darkness. So the Apollo is what we are going to be flying. Now, let's get working. We're playing on normal, of course, and here we go. So as it says here, welcome to the Descent into Darkness, a modification by DryEagle. Before we start blasting apart the rebels and everyone else we find along our way, we'll have to make some choices. The board has been set, and now it's time to place our pieces. Now there's a little error that pops up when we try and add crew, but that's not important. And the option we have here is to read and carefully consider the choices set before us. Captain. We can't name our crew, they're named for us. We awake to find sirens blaring across the station. Accessing the nearest console, we immediately see why. A large group of rebel ships is approaching on an attack vector. Knowing we have little time, we use the station's sensors to scan the approaching fleet as we head towards the hangar bays. The data we collect will be vital to the Federation fleet. Our story begins here. The station's cloak is holding for now. While we are powerless to stop the inevitable bombardment of the planet below, we can at least avenge the lives lost here today by preparing the Federation fleet with the data our scans have collected. We have heard many stories of the devastation the rebel fleet leaves in its wake, worlds burned to the point of being uninhabitable. It's a terrible fate for any on the surface. We don't stop to dwell on the fact that we'll never see our family again. It is now time to take action. Getting to the Federation fleet will not be easy. Our ship is not built for direct combat, and now is the time to change that. This not being a Federation-owned station, we won't be getting any free equipment here. We head to the financial sector and withdraw the last of our savings, getting 200 scrap. It's not much, but it'll have to do. Having withdrawn the last of our savings, we head to one of the more reputable weapons merchants and start to browse their inventory. The first weapon to catch our eye is, and now here is what makes this amazing, this is a choice-based ship construction system. So we get a variety of options and we choose what we want to go on board our ship. We have an option of a railgun here, a cannon that shoots projectiles so fast they penetrate shields, or a heavy beam weapon used by salvagers for cutting apart ship hulls. Do we want a railgun or a heavy beam? We're going to go with a heavy beam. Sounds like a cool weapon to me. We purchase a heavy beam, costs us 40 scrap. Well, that's pretty reasonable. Having secured the first weapon, we continue browsing the list of available armaments. We find plasma cannons. That's what we need. Definitely plasma cannons. We can get superheated plasma, which is sure to start fires once the target's shields are down, or heavily ionized plasma, which will overload any systems it hits. Well, since we have a beam weapon, we should pair it with an ionized weapon, so we'll go with this heavily ionized plasma. Thank you very much. We purchase an ionized plasma cannon for another 40 scrap. Looking good. With the weapons mounted to our ship, we decide to head to the local dive, where we will surely be able to hire some mercenaries. A ship this size might be acceptable for a single pilot on a leisure cruise, but in combat we'll need all the help we can get. After chatting with some of the mercs offering their services, we decide to hire either a maintenance team, a boarding party, or a security detail. Now our options here are fairly interesting. It doesn't say so much here, but the maintenance team involves bringing on board a Zoltan and an NG, and possibly some kind of repair drone. I'm not sure about that. The boarding party involves, I believe, I don't remember these exactly. One of these two has a slug and a crystal, and the other one has a rock and a mantis. So you can experiment with them yourselves. I think for this time we're going to go for a low-boarding, high ship destruction ship. So we're going to go for a maintenance team, which will help us keep ourselves alive, give us that extra starting power, and give us a lot of blue options from our NG. Might not be the best choice to start out with, but that's the great thing about this mod. You can pick whichever you feel like. So we're going to go with the maintenance team here. Yes, we also get a system repair drone. We hire the maintenance team, an NG and a Zoltan, and a repair drone. The NG is punctual as expected, so we take them on board, and their name is Wrench, and his Zoltan co-worker arrives shortly afterwards, and his name is Sparks. As we're leaving the bar, we overhear a heated three-way argument as to the best way to augment a ship's defenses. A rock is hammering home his point about reinforcing the ship's hull. An NG says to secure the ship's electronics, and a Zoltan claims that supercharging the shields is the superior option. Checking our datapad, we realize we still have scrap to spare, and who do we agree with is our question. Well, we can upgrade the ship's hull, which gives us basically the ability to negate damage done to our hull and the ability to automatically seal breaches. If we, in augment form, of course. If we upgrade the ship's electronics, we get the ability to negate ion and negate system damage, and upgrading the ship's shield gives us a Zoltan shield. Now, Zoltan shields are pretty cool, so we're going to go with one of those. We hire some Zoltan technicians to supercharge our ship's shields. There we go. Arriving back at our ship, we find a catalog from the weapons merchant showing off a fine selection of drones. Almost out of scrap, we decide to spend the last remaining part to secure a powerful drone for the trip ahead. We decide to purchase an offensive drone or a defensive drone. Well, I'm not entirely sure how these work because the ship doesn't start off with a drone control, and I've never actually got a drone control to test them, but I do believe the offensive drone is an enhanced beam drone with an extended range, which is pretty darn effective, or a defensive drone, which may still be a version of the Defense Drone 1 that simply shoots faster. Again, I haven't tried it out yet, so I don't know, but I think we're going beam offense, so an offensive drone it is. We use the last scrap to buy a beam drone. Fantastic. Augmented beam drone for 20 scrap. We are now as prepared as we're likely to be. We don't wish to hang around any longer. It will be difficult staying ahead of the Federation, and any further delay could prove fatal. We have to go now and rendezvous with the Federation fleet and bring these rebels to justice for all the worlds they've burned. Well, our options here are to deal with their crimes in accordance with the law or to deal with them personally. And this is... we're going to deal with them personally. We're going to be destroying every single one we see. Not that that last choice makes much of a difference as far as I can tell, but it is a nice bit of flavor text. So we have our crew here. Captain, Wrench, and Sparks. We'll send Wrench down to the engines, I think, for now. And we will send Sparks into the weapons. Reason for that is, since that we have a Zoltan shield, we're going to hopefully try and dodge as many shots as possible and not take much damage in our shields. I don't like having a Zoltan in the weapons very much, though, so we may need to swap him out at some point. Or maybe I can swap... I like having Wrench near all these systems, though. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Power up the weaponry. There we go. We can even turn on the engines a bit more. Now, one of the interesting things about this ship, very, very interesting, in fact, is that since we started with no crew on it, all of the systems will automatically repair themselves like this was an AI ship, which is very, very cool in my opinion. Also, some of the upgrades have a different cost. For example, weapons don't cost quite as much. Engines don't cost quite as much. Shields are maxed out at level 3, so you can't go all the way up to level 4, which makes the Zoltan shields quite nice. And there are a couple other changes as well. Engines are very cheap, so we're obviously supposed to spend a lot of money on them again. In case you couldn't tell, DryEagle likes his engines. Yeah, the other systems are a little bit interestingly priced, but for the most part, it seems pretty standard, which is nice. So, we have our ship here. No starting scrap, which is interesting as well. Our heavy beam is a modified glaive beam with the focusing bracket removed, so you can tell it doesn't have the arms here on the end, which is kind of funny. So it doesn't do as much direct damage, and also the beam length is a lot shorter. It's a very short beam. It's basically mini beam length, even maybe shorter than that, but it does a lot of damage still. It does 2 damage to normal rooms and double on systemless rooms. The only downside to it is that it shoots very slowly. The beam moves really slow. Our ionized plasma cannon is quite nice, though, doing 2 ion damage per shot and 1 shot every 14 seconds. That's pretty good. Our system repair is not bad, and our augmented beam drone is pretty cool, too, as far as I can tell. Our Zoltan shield will also make us nice and powerful, and things should go quite well here. Alright, now, I'll be right back, and we'll get this adventure started. Alright, got myself something to keep myself sated. Got some lovely drink here. Let us get moving. We have a lot of space to cover. So, first flight of the Apollo. What are we going to find over here? Let's jump over this way, and we'll work our way around the sector over here to get to the exit. Hopefully we'll find some lovely things to fry with our fantastic new weapons. And we're in an asteroid field. Worst possible place for this shield. Oh good. A pirate ship was lying in wait inside this asteroid field and immediately moves in to attack us. Well, that's not going to go well for them, is it? Let's turn and fight them. We're going to ionize their shields as soon as possible, and we're going to heavy beam them where it hurts. See how short the beam is, though? It's really short. You can't actually reach it across 2 rooms. So, let's just say it can cause some problems. Here comes a missile. Please get blocked by my shield. Thank you. Also, that's a very cool little animated thing. Very cool little animated thing. I learned something very interesting about the shots in this mod, and I'll tell you about that in a bit. For now, I'm going to keep it a bit secret here. And they offer us everything they have, if you forget this happened. A missile, a drone part, and 8 scrap, but we're not going to accept that surrender. We're going to fry them with our heavy beam, which is an insanely powerful weapon. Ship explodes, giving us a missile, a drone part, and 12 scrap, and I am quite happy to have this weapon. I'm not complaining in the least. So let's power up and get out of town. Otherwise, we are going to be in a world of hurt. So, out of that asteroid field, please. Also, our advancing rebels are now covered in darkness instead of being simply a red wall. It's now a darkness wall. We stumble here across a forward scout of the rebel fleet. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? Trying to power up your FTL, eh? Well, that's not going to happen today. Ionize those shields and get ready to fry some rebels. Now, these guys should die a nice painful death, but we're going to fry them right across their weapons and engines, although I should wait until the ionized plasma shot actually hits, otherwise we might not be able to get it in time. There we go. And now we're going to fry through there. Go, go, laser power! Alright, they're still trying to run away, so we're going to ionize them in the helm next, which may be a problem, actually. Maybe we'll just hit them in the shields. We'll see if it takes them, how long it takes them to get out of here. Now that their engines are damaged, they should be charging fairly slowly, and we should be able to take them out here. And we missed. That's unfortunate. Thankfully, our glaive beam can pierce these shields anyway, and we'll kill them. Excellent. The ship breaks apart, and we're relieved to know that we're still one step ahead of the fleet, getting 2 fuel, a missile, and another 16 scrap, which we are going to spend on a power bar, which we are going to use on our engines. Ta-da! There we go. Now we're even better at dodging. Let's keep moving. We got a lot of space to cover, and not a whole lot of time to do it in. So, jump, jump, jump ahead. Is there anything at this beacon for us to murder? Yes, there is. At first it appears we've arrived in an empty system, but a ship appears from behind a planet and hails us, saying, "Ha ha ha! I am the Dread Pirate Tuco! Prepare to die!" Very Dread Pirate Roberts, in my opinion. But that's okay. We're going to hit these guys. These guys have a lot of weapons. These are going to wreck our Zoltan shields really fast, which is unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do. We'll have to hope we dodge a couple of those. Like the ion, please. Nope, ion hit us. Everything hit us except for 1 shot, which is nice because it means we keep our shield for a little bit longer, and there go them. We should be able to fry them quite nicely here, and now they're down. They offer us everything they have, which is 4 missiles, 2 drone parts, and 10 scrap, which is a quite nice offer, except we don't need the missiles or the drone parts yet, so we're going to not accept their surrender and hope we get a little bit more. Down goes their ship as the beam crosses the threshold there, giving us 2 fuel, 2 missiles, and 18 scrap, much better for our needs. Excellent. 26 scrap. We gotta stock up. Oh, words. We have to stockpile some money here, otherwise we're gonna be hard-pressed to keep going later in the game. But this is a very powerful start, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. We see a civilian space station here with heavy damage. We receive a message from them saying they've been hit hard by the war and need more drone parts to speed up their repairs. They offer to buy some from us if we have extra, but we don't have any extra, so we have to ignore the unfortunate station. There's a distress beacon over here, though, so let's go check them out and see what they want. Hello, gentlemen. The distress signal is coming from a small space station orbiting an uninhabited planet. Their satellite defenses have gone haywire, and their repair crew can't approach without being fired on. Well, luckily for you, we have an NG on board, so we're going to remotely repair their targeting system, and that's why we brought you, Wrench, so that you could give us blue options. Boop. Our crew member is able to remotely fix the glitch in the defense AI, allowing the repair crew to close in and finish the job. The station gives us its thanks, as well as 3 fuel, drone part, and an 18 scrap. Looking good. Looking good. It would be lovely to upgrade our shield to level 2, but he does not want us doing that right now. Instead of being a lowly, something like 60, 50 scrap for the first level, it is 105. So, that's expensive. We're not going to be doing that. Instead, we'll get some more engine when we can get some. We are going to keep moving as such. We're going to jump here into the nebula, hopefully slow down their advance, so we can approach our exit, and we'll see how it goes. So we've come across a black market weapons trader spinning us a tale of the dangers of the nebula before pushing his wares. Unfortunately for him, we don't have the money to buy his weapon if we wanted to, so we're just going to murder him. Also, it turns out I forgot to turn steam off. There we go. Excellent. Now let us attack these friends. Attack that ship. Alright, ionized plasma in the shields. Turn off their defenses so the heavy ion can wreck them, or the heavy beam can wreck them, because that is one heck of a powerful weapon. Charge it up and get ready to fry. These guys shouldn't be able to get through our shields before we can kill them, especially not if they're missing like that. Excellent, and now we can murder them through these 2 empty rooms for maximum damage. They offer to give us our goods if we don't destroy their ship, and they only offer a fuel, a missile, and 11 scrap, so we're going to hope we get better by crushing them. No surrender. We're here for vengeance. Vengeance against the rebels. Ship explodes, giving us a fuel, 2 missiles, and 14 scrap. Marginally better, I suppose. We'll take it. 58 scrap on hand. We could hop into these different nebula sectors first, then jump out to there and there. That probably seems like a pretty good choice. Get as much out of the area as we can. Just as long as there's no ion storms, we should be fine. An advanced rebel automated ship remains stationed near a small rebel space station, but without functioning sensors, we can't tell what's inside. That's fine though, we're gonna try to attack the station anyway, because they have no shields, so we can wreck them. Let's get in there. They have a mini beam and a variety of weapons which should do some serious damage to our Zoltan shield, but they shouldn't be able to get through our real shield before we can wreck them, because of course we have this amazing laser. The only problem is, we can't hit many rooms. Thankfully, this ship only has 6 health anyway, so as long as we hit it, it's going to die. There we go. It died before our ion could even get close. We salvaged 12 scrap from the broken ship, and when we investigate the station, we find that it was either abandoned or stripped clean, with nothing inside. Well, that's not very nice. Okay, well, let's jump over here. We might be able to get there and there before we run out of space. I wouldn't put too much hope in it, but we'll see. And we jumped into an ion storm. Not good. Okay, we arrive in the middle of a plasma storm, and despite the harsh conditions, Rebel Scout is waiting for us. Well, okay, we have our Zoltan shield still online, which is all we need right now. We'll turn off the oxygen and boost our evasion. If we need to turn the oxygen back on soon, we will, but for now, we want to try and hit them nice and hard while they can't do much to us. Our heavy beam is going to go right through there and should seriously wreck their ability to do any damage to us or run away. And then we should be able to relax. Oh wow, that did 3 damage? No, 2 damage. Okay, I was worried there for a second that it had done more than I was expecting it to our Zoltan shield. But this should turn off their weapons and put them within an inch of death. So we are basically fine here to take these guys out as we please. And I'm quite pleased about that. So, knock that system out again, please, and ion beam them to an early grave. Why do I keep saying ion beam? Heavy beam them to an early grave. Ship explodes, giving us a missile, a drone part, and 18 scrap. Alright, well let's get out of here, because this is not a friendly place to be, and we're not going to be able to get any extra jumps. We're going to go straight to the exit and then get out of dodge, because otherwise we're going to get overrun here. Okay, we arrive at the long-range beacon. What do we find here? When the FTL drive is charged, we'll be able to jump ahead, and we find an advanced Rebel automated ship remains stationed near a small Rebel space station. Hello again, Rebel Scouts. Sensors indicate it has military goods inside, so okay, let's attack them and get those goods. We're going to turn our systems back online, thank you very much. Oxygen back on as well. We're going to ion out their shields. They got a bunch of bombs, which could be a problem if one of them is an ion bomb, but I would be surprised if it is, and the odds are that if it is an ion bomb, it's going to hit us much after their other weapons, so we're pretty much safe anyway. Oh no, pair of small bombs. Alright, our shields are still largely intact, which is nice. We're going to fry them across those 2 rooms, which should take up most of their firepower. And as long as we can hit them again, we should be okay here. Ionized plasma in the shields, please. As long as we don't get hit too hard by this dual laser, we should be okay here. And they hit us in the helm, you jerks. First point of damage. But we do manage to salvage 11 scrap from the broken ship, and when we investigate this station, we find it's a storage site for resources. So we get 2 fuel, 3 missiles, and 10 scrap out of them, putting us up to 109 scrap, which is quite nice. I should probably have spent some of this by now, but whatever. I'll let Captain... It's an appropriate name, but it's kind of a boring name. Alright, into the medbay there, Captain. Heal yourself up. And back to your helm. Excellent. We have 109 scrap. What are we going to put that towards? Probably dodge, because it's so cheap. We'll buy at least 1 more bar of dodge, because why not? Put the power back in there. Now we're up to 30% evasion, which is pretty good for this stage of the game. We could even go all out and buy another one, because we're not going to be able to buy our shields for a while, but I think we'll hold off on that for now, because we need our energy elsewhere. Now let's get out of here before things get nasty. Our choices now are an Uncharted Nebula or a Mantis-controlled sector, and since we hate the Uncharted Nebulas, we're going to the Mantis-controlled sector. I'd much rather fight a lot of stuff than risk not fighting anything. Here we are. Having entered a poorly charted area of space known to be home to the Mantis, we'll need to ensure our hull plating is up to scratch and we have enough fuel to make it through. We got plenty of fuel and our hull plating is looking pretty solid here, especially because of that Zoltan shield protecting us from a lot of the damage in the early game. Let's get a move on. Hopefully we can make that jump, otherwise we're going to be stuck here forever. Jump ahead. What do we find here? Alright, a small military craft hails us, and a Mantis captain appears on our receiver. All local human colonies have been punished for the Federation's transgressions. We are supposed to submit to processing. Okay, well that's not going to happen. Let's ionize their shields, thank you very much. We're going to want to get some weapons to support this. While the heavy beam is amazing, especially for 2 power, we're going to want to get some additional weapons to help knock out those shields in the later levels. We may have to see how it goes. So we should be able to block most of this first salvo, and then we should be able to knock out most of their defenses with our heavy beam, especially because we can just kill them by firing through here. Yeah, go, 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 go. And there goes the enemy. Bye-bye, Mantis Scout. This heavy beam is phenomenal. Ship explodes, leaving behind 2 fuel, a missile, and 20 scrap. Awesome. Well, let's power up our engines again then, because we have the money. There we go, up to level 5 engines, because why not? Let's jump over here, and then we'll make our way out. Okay, what do we have here? There's nothing here but space debris and some uninhabitable planetoids. That doesn't sound very much fun. Let's jump over to this nearby beacon and see if we can't get any goodies there instead. And by goodies, I mean people to murder. We find a rebel automated scout floating near this beacon, and despite being in pristine condition, it appears to be deactivated. So we're going to try and download the ship's data stores. Surprisingly enough, we're actually able to pull all the ship's data about the sector off without waking it up. We get a fuel, 2 missiles, and 12 scrap, as well as some map data. Well, that'll do us some good. Lot of distress beacons over there. That looks like fun. Let's jump over and see what they want. Hello there, people. What can we do for you? And giant alien spiders. That's no good. We find a number of ships fleeing from a small space station. We hail them asking what's wrong and find out they're being overrun by giant alien spiders. Well, that's unfortunate, but we can't help you because we're not very good at fighting giant alien spiders, and I don't want to risk losing one of my fantastic starting crew, so we're going to have to leave them alone. Of course, we can't risk fighting aliens on every backwater station we come across and have to jump. I do feel somewhat bad about doing that to them after coming directly to help them in the first place, but like I said, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. There's a distress beacon over here, but there's another one over there. Unfortunately, these are all unmanned areas. How can we do this best? I'm not sure. Maybe we'll come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That might be a good idea. Let's jump over to this beacon and fight whatever's over here. The great thing about these is we know they have people at them, so we can probably fight them. We discover one of the rebels' autonomous scouts here. The ship's AI wastes no time in engaging our ship. Well, the Apollo doesn't want anything to do with that. The ship starts to power up its FTL drive as well, and if it gets away, it'll no doubt warn the fleet of our position. Well, this could be bad, actually. We're going to have to ionize their shields, but they have some fairly hefty shield bubbles here. So our heavy beam is not going to have free reign here. We may have a hard time taking these guys out. Our first heavy beam is going to go to their engines and shields, hopefully slow them down a little bit. Thankfully, they miss, which is going to give us a little bit of extra protection here. Knock that thing out. Please. There we go. We get 1 point of damage on each of those systems, which should let us knock... No, it did not. Might let us knock our shields out again with the second ionized plasma. Their FTL drive is still charging. Ooh, this could be bad for us. Oh, wow. They missed both of those shots. That's lucky. Alright, now we get a chance to do some damage. We're going to knock them in the engines and shields again, otherwise they're going to get away. So we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. There we go. Nice bit of damage there. 1 more salvo from us will kill them, but they might do some damage with this shot. And they did this time. They did 4 damage to us. Thankfully, they didn't actually hurt us too much, so that's good. Please don't hit us. Stop knocking out our shields. Jeez. Alright, we should get a chance to kill them here, but they're going to do some damage to us as well. Ow! Our engines got hit, but they are now dead. Excellent. That was some pretty heavy lasers. The ship breaks apart, and we feel relief in the knowledge it will hopefully still stay 1 step ahead of the fleet, getting a missile a drone part and 11 scrap. Ouch, wrench. Ouch. Alright, well, we're going to get our people to go do some repairs here. Hop out of these various rooms and get the repairs underway. Hooey. Okay. And we'll get Wrench into the medbay to heal. Thank you very much. Since we have a resultant friend in there, it is automatically powered. Well done, Sparks. Alright, and Wrench, you're going to hop back down into the engines, and Sparks back up into the weapons. There we go. Power back where we need it. 37 scrap. We took a bit of damage there, but we can recover. We definitely want to try and get those level 2 shields, though, because they're so good. But the problem is, it's hard to justify getting them when engines are so cheap. Especially if we have a Zoltan shield, which protects us from a lot of the damage if we can dodge well. But we'll have to see how it goes. So we're going to jump over here, jump over there, jump, 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 jump. Probably, most likely anyway. We'll see how it goes. Let's take some jumps and fight some dudes. What do we have here? A nearby Mantis ship begins aggressive maneuvers. We prepare for the worst. They're going to be boarding us in a second. Oh, they can't board us because of our fantastic shield. Fantastic. Well, let's knock out their shields with our ion, and then let's heavy beam them in the face and make them die. We can probably knock out their teleporter before they can board us anyway. This would be lovely. Please ionize them. Hit, 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 hit. There we go, and we are going to fry them right through their main systems. They're not going to be boarding us today. Thank you very much. Excellent. They cannot hurt us, they cannot board us, we can kill them at our leisure. One interesting thing about the ionized plasma as well is when it hits the system, it does system damage. So if we see, I don't know if it's here when it hits the shield, no it doesn't, but if it actually hits the system inside, it will do damage. 1 system damage. I don't think it does hull damage, but I believe it does hurt the systems at least. But there goes another Mantis fighter. Very nice. I like the little effect here on the beam as well, very cool. The ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial collection of useful scrap, giving us 2 fuel, drone part, and 24 metal. Fantastic. We're going to come over to this distress beacon. That'll give us 1, 2-ish, 3-ish. We can probably get 1, 2, 3, and then out of there. That looks like it should be possible. Let's try. Here we go. What do we find over here? We arrive at the location of the distress call and find a civilian ship which hails us, thanking us for responding to their beacon. Their FTL navigation has apparently gone haywire and they're unable to plot a course to the nearest depot to get it fixed. We agree to lead them to their destination, and they offer us 12 scrap as a down payment. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully you'll give us more when we get there. It's right beside us. Not exactly what I had in mind there, guys, but okay. Okay, I guess we're not going to that distress beacon in this match. The ship we were escorting thanks us. They said they didn't think we could have made it without our help, and they let us patch up some of our hull. That's pretty good, down to 2 spots missing. And they want to show us our wares. Well, that means we get 3 stores in a row. Fantastic. Ooh, that's interesting. There's some fuel and stuff we can buy. How much is this stuff worth? Assault and Shield's only worth 20. I always like how DryEagle makes his weapons really unappealing to sell, despite the fact that they're almost always really powerful. Okay, well, we're going to buy a fuel, I guess. Another fuel, and another fuel. Let's just buy all this fuel. We're going to need it eventually, and we'll buy the tiny hull repairs we need, because we don't have any other use for our money at this point anyway. We can jump to this store and see if they have anything interesting. Do you have anything interesting? That is the question. Upon arriving at this beacon, we are hailed by a well-spoken Mantis.
Hail, traveler. These are dangerous times. Perhaps you find yourself in need of our services.
He appears to be a trader. And he also has lasers, but not the lasers we want, unfortunately. And also crew, which we don't need at the moment. Can we not buy crew? Your ship is full. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Apparently the ship can't have more than 3 crew. Maybe you can find more but can't buy them? I guess that's the bug related to the beginning when it said your ship is full and won't be able to accept more crew members. You'll have to dismiss one. So we can't buy crew. That's interesting. We can find it, I'm sure, because there's, 5 more slots on the ship, but you cannot buy them. Well, you learn something new every day. Alright, let's jump over here to the store and see if we can't make some more progress here before we get kicked out of this sector as well. Another store. We identify another Mantis trading post ahead and signal them so that our approach won't be taken as a threat. The leader hails us, saying,
"You have scrap. Quickly, come dock before the warriors see you."
It's kind of bad we have 3 stores in a row here, but, ooh, maybe not so bad after all. The drone recovery arm would be very nice later on in this game. Long-range scanners are quite good for being able to see where you want to go, but if we're going to be using our beam drone a lot, having a drone recovery arm would make it much more feasible. Yes, please. Drone recovery arm, it is. I never get one of those things. We might actually be able to spam our drones at them for once. I don't think we can make it here safely. We might try anyway, though. Either that or we jump here, then back, and then back. I'll do that. We'll jump to the exit, into the corner, and then back to the exit. Alright, exit beacon, what do you have for us? We arrive at the long-range beacon, and when the FTL drive is charged, we'll be able to jump to the next sector. And we find a small station fitted with hundreds of repair drones. We don't need repairs, we don't have any money for repairs. They don't know who we are, but they're willing to repair us anyway, but that doesn't do us any good, because it doesn't help us at all. Alright, we can jump over here. We'll have to fight someone on the way out. Let's do that, though. We've got to get some money in this sector. Is there anything here? Please be something here. No, there's nothing here. Oy. The only thing this beacon offers is a view of deep space and a brief respite from battles. For some, this must be a welcome refuge, but for us, it's unfortunate, because now it means we have to fight our way out again. Alright, let's murder us a rebel elite. We found the exit beacon, but the rebels got here first. We have to survive long enough to get to the next sector, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, honestly. Those lasers could be quite bad. If we get hit by all of them, they'll be able to board us immediately. Let's ionize them, thank you very much, because if they get on board, we're going to have a really hard time here. We're probably going to book it out of here before we get overrun, but hopefully we will dodge a bunch of these starting shots, and we will not get totally wrecked here. Please dodge. Please don't get hit by all of them. Good. Good. Okay, we're going to heavy beam them in the weapons and the engines. Go. Awesome. Very slow laser, but it did get the job done. Please miss us with one of these shots as well so you don't board us. I do not want to have boarders right now. Oh, goodness. Okay, here comes the boarding party. Here they are. Okay, he's in the med bay, which is reasonable. We're going to send Wrench in there to go beat him up. He should be able to handle that. Power out of the engines to power our med base so he doesn't die, and we're going to heavy beam these guys again in the weapons, which should more or less neutralize their ability to fight us. They just repaired the med bay while we were shooting them in it. And they shot us in an empty part of the ship, which is fine for now, but not going to be very good later on if we can't deal with it. So, ionize them in the shields again, please. They're going to be hitting us again in a second, and we really need to get our dodge up again. So what we're going to do is, Wrench is going to hop out of that room for a second to man the engines while they shoot at us. Please dodge, please dodge. Yes, excellent. Now, Wrench, back in that room, keep fighting them. Heavy beam them in the weapons again. Turn that extra weapon off. Turn off the med bay as well. Hit them in the engines. We're doing pretty good here. I'd really like to take out their other weapon, but I can't get their shields down without attacking the shield room, and I haven't been doing that because I've been trying to control their weapons. Also, we just got hit in the radar room, which is not fantastic. So we're going to heavy beam them this time across the oxygen shields and engines, hopefully making us able to take their shields down a layer, although now all their weapons are online, which is very scary. Okay, we're going to take a hit here because I don't think I can afford to have Wrench in the engines to dodge. Oh, just in time. Back in here, take the fight again. Ooh, that was close. Whew. Okay, we apparently still can't get their weapons offline. This is going to hurt really bad. Hit us in the shields, but down they go. Fantastic. Okay. There's no time to salvage enemy ship. We have to jump away before the cruisers get in firing range. That was nasty, but we did manage to hold them off, so we got an extra kill out of this. We took a bit of damage there. 3 hull damage isn't too bad, though. And we'll go do some repairs now. So let's get Wrench fixing our radar, whilst Sparks and the Captain fix our shields. The Apollo's taken a bit of a beating here on its maiden voyage, but we've been doing pretty well so far, so I can hardly complain. Okay, so power back where it is needed. There we go, power back where we want it, and time to get out of town. The darkness is overrunning this Mantis-controlled sector. Our choices now are an uncharted nebula or a pirate-controlled sector, so the pirate-controlled sector it is. We're not sticking around where there's nebulae. Okay. A few Federation-friendly planets still exist in this sector, but they're constantly under attack by pirate raids. This is a dangerous sector, so we'll have to be careful. However, to see how this adventure continues, you're going to have to come check back next time, because this episode is going to have to end here for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been VanguardOfValor, playing through the Descent into Darkness mod, the last mod ever created by DryEagle, his final creation. Very cool so far. Whew. If you liked the episode, don't forget to like the episode. The mod will be in the description below if you want to get it for yourself, which you should try because it's pretty phenomenal. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.